Karis, you did a lot of work with ALCARI leading into his debut run. Did you always think that he was a nice horse?
Yep, he's been trialling good before he runs, and I knew he will improve. His last trial before he ran was very good. Then went to races and had a nice win. Still a bit green, and like I say, I always thought he would improve, and that's what he did. Yeah.
He's had a month between runs. You've done a lot of work with him since then. How's he come through that first run?
Yes, I don't think Ricky wanted to rush the horse too, and of course it's the 3 years old races, so they come only a certain amount of time. So he's doing well. He's taken the race very good, and he's only a young horse, so he can only get better.
He's got the top weight to carry. Is he good enough though to make it back-to-back here?
Yeah, well, of course he had a run, and he's seen the course already. He felt the pressure, so I don't see why he shouldn't go well again.
He looks like a big, strong type of horse. Is he still developing?
Yes, he's still growing. He's still young, but I don't think there should be any problem with the weight. Especially from the first run, he's definitely improved.
Zack Purton makes his first step into open company, into Class 3 on the weekend. How do you feel he'll go?
Hopefully he goes well.
Has he made improvement from 2 to 3? Has there been development in that time?
I don't think he's improved dramatically. He feels like he's much the same horse as what he was last season. Obviously he's a little bit older and a little bit more streetwise, but he definitely doesn't feel like he's any bigger or stronger, or he hasn't developed a lot anyway.
From what he did last season though, does he need to improve?
I think he does, yeah. I think he was racing against some pretty weak opposition last year. It wasn't a vintage bunch of horses, and now he steps out against some older, more experienced horses, and he's going to have to be right on his game.
And you've ridden him in his trials. What have you made of his trials?
Oh, his trials are as good as they have been. He's always shown good speed. He's always done everything right. His first couple of trials were nice and quiet. His last trial, he done a little bit more, but he seems to go well up the straight. He's drawn not an ideal gate, but hopefully he can jump well and be right up there again, and we'll see what we've got.
Joe, CONTE's a horse from John Sizer's stable having his first start. You've had a bit to do with him. Does he give you the feel of a nice horse?
Yeah, well, he's a lovely horse. He's done everything fine. Based on his trials and his gallops, you would think that he's going to go out there and you would think that he could make it right away.
He's drawn 12. Is that a concern for you?
I don't think so. I think based on the horse himself, that he's so big, he probably wants a lot of room, so he's definitely going to have it on the outside. And he's a very fast horse, so I presume that John is going to ask me to go forward. He will probably either be on the outside of the leader or even leading the race. That's my thoughts. Obviously, we are going to take from the trainer's instruction. But based on the feeling that he gives me, he's going to be going forward, and obviously you don't want to get interrupted with such a big horse.
Does he feel like a horse that can run a good race first up? Is he fit enough to run well fresh?
I think he's fit enough to go there and win.
Frankie, Midnight Promise, he's had 3 runs for you this season so far. Do you feel like he's ready to win come this weekend?
Yeah, I think so. He looks much better now.
Last time out, did you feel he had to do a bit too much work from that wide draw?
Yeah, I think so. It's the early of the stage. He need to make a little bit work for him, so maybe use a little bit in front. So the last quarter a little bit tired, look like.
This time though, from a better draw, where would you like to see him in the run?
And depends by his jump out, good or not. I think usually he can easier to lead in front. So if he can lead in front, so easier and lead in front by himself, and to see last quarter, anyone come to challenge him.
Your strike rate at the moment, Frankie, 25%. You're leading the trainers' premiership. Must be very happy with the way the season's going so far.
Yes, very happy.
Did you think that you could start off like this as well as you have?
Before, I don't think that quick I can get 18 winners. So I think my staff worked very hard for me.
And for you as well too. Of course, you're formerly John Sizer's assistant trainer. As you know, famously, he won in his first season, won the premiership. Do you think you can do the same?
I only can say I try my best.
Time Warp Joe, you've ridden him in a barrier trial. What were your thoughts on that trial?
The trial itself was fantastic. I just done what Tony Cruz asked me to do, just let him run forward, and he attacked the line nicely underneath. So I was delighted with his trials, and based on his form, you would think that carrying the middle of the handicap, obviously it's a handicap race, usually the bottom weight horses has the advantage, but in the middle I still see him as a winning chance. And he's got a good gait. Hopefully he can deliver the best of himself on doing so. I believe he's a winning chance.
He won his last 3 in a row last season. Is he a horse that you've been keeping an eye on, wanting to jump on board?
No doubts about that. In particular, when he broke the Happy Valleys record, I was very impressed the way how he won, and obviously he would be one of those horses that would be having on the list for this coming season, I mean. So I'm happy to have him.
12 months ago, Zack, you're getting ready to ride Sacred Elixir as the favourite in the Victoria Derby. Now you're riding him for his first run in Hong Kong. How's his preparation been?
It's been nice. He hasn't had a whole lot of groundwork. Yeah, he's had those couple of trials, and the last trial was not too bad. It was a bit of a funny run trial, pace-wise. But he was on his wrong leg up the straight and didn't really seem to be focused on what he was doing. So hopefully on race day he can sort that out. He's going to need to. It's a pretty strong race to step out in for your first time here. But he done a good job overseas when he was racing there. So if he can bring that to Hong Kong, he should have acquitted himself well.
Is he the sort of horse that can run a race first up over 1400?
He has previously. But I don't know if he's quite as forward at the moment as what he may have been for those other runs previously. But, you know, he's a talented horse, and if things were to go right, it wouldn't surprise me if he did jump out of the ground. But I suspect he might get better as we go along.